written CAT 2025 and I know you're worried that how will you do in the interview. Now, since you deserve to crack the interview, we are here to let you know all the questions you have in your mind and get the answers to. I have with me Dr. Ajit Srivastava, who is a corporate veteran and a renowned expert in interview skills training, who has guided numerous students for B School, cracking the B School interviews. Hello, sir.
Hello.
We welcome you to the official YouTube channel of CH Edgemakers, and stay with us till the end of this video because this video is going to be very, very useful for you. So, sir, many of the students have this question that, are puzzles asked in interview, IIM interview?
Yes, it is actually a good question. Most of the students have this notion that only academics and personality is required. However, puzzles can be asked, and because one of the things that most of the students say during the interview is they have a logical mind, analytical skills. So to test that, sometimes puzzles can be asked. Okay, so while you're preparing for your interviews, I think you should practice some puzzles and have an approach to solve these. So to answer your question, yes, puzzles can be asked in an interview.
Right, so be prepared. All right, so another very important question and a very basic question students have in mind is, how do they dress up? Like, what should be the perfect attire for the interview?
Okay. First of all, there's nothing as a perfect attire. It is always an apt attire. Okay? People often say that you should dress for this, dress for that. I always say that you should dress for the occasion. An interview is an occasion. It is an important occasion in a person's life. So you should dress for that occasion. And yes, formal attire, not very flashy. The intent is that when you enter the room, the attention of the panel should be on you and not any of your accessories or your attire.
Correct.
Okay? So it should be a very formal and a plain and a subtle attire which enhances your personality.
Right, sir.
So yes, attire does matter a lot because that is the first thing that the people notice about you. And if you are dressed for the occasion, it shows the sincerity that you have in you.
So it's the apt attire and not the perfect attire, as sir says. All right. Sir, should students ask feedback after they are done with the interviews?
Okay, this is something that a lot of students ask me.
Correct.
My straight answer to this is no. You should not ask for the feedback. It can be, a lot of people, students ask me that should I ask how was my interview or what are my improvement areas. No, these things they are against the etiquettes of an interview. You should sit there, give your best, and then greet and go away from there, and should not ask for the interview feedback. Feedback is something you take from your mentors. You go and tell them how the interview happened, what are the answers that you gave to particular questions, and then you get a feedback from your mentors. Panel is definitely not the place to ask for a feedback.
Correct. I also hope you have watched our videos which sir has made on various questions like how to answer those particular very, very common questions. We do have it on our YouTube channel. Please watch them. Well, now again a very common is honesty good or required in interview, and if yes, why?
You want to say is it better to
be honest? That's correct.
While your conversation with them?
That's correct.
Yes. Honesty is the most important thing in the interview. सीखना क्या पड़ता है? सीखना ये पड़ता है कि उस honest चीज़ को बोलना कैसे है. ठीक है? Right? If I take an example that you have a bad result in class 10th or 12th, okay? And then you say, sir, I was sick and I could not attend the classes. So वो सारी चीज़ें समझ में आती हैं, ठीक है? If you actually played the fool during your school and spoiled your result, ठीक है? That is the thing that you should say. But what you need to learn is कि उस चीज़ को एक अच्छे तरीके से कैसे बोलना है.
Right.
ठीक है? तो honesty, because deceit detection is something which can be done very easily. An experienced interviewer can catch deceit in a matter of seconds. और इससे गंदी बात नहीं हो सकती कि आप इंटरव्यू के दौरान झूठे साबित हो गए. ठीक है? तो honesty is something which is very essential and you should always be honest in your answers. What you need to learn, what you need to get trained is how to frame those answers and how to say those things. ठीक है? तो the takeaway is झूठ बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए इंटरव्यू में. सब कुछ सच्चाई और ऑनेस्टी होनी चाहिए, लेकिन उसको प्रेजेंट कैसे करना है वो सीखने की ज़रूरत होती है.
So basically, how is more important. That's what you're saying. So along with honesty, does humility also play an important role?
Yes. You should not have a boasting tone. Okay? Even if you are a very high achiever and you've achieved a lot of things, my suggestion is you should not have a boasting tone while you're talking. Okay? You should have a lot of humbleness, lot of humility, and then if you project that you have a learner's attitude and you learn from various things which are around you,
Right.
it gives out a good vibe, it gives out a good feeling. Okay? Because what they're looking at people who are eager to learn, people who are looking at future,
Right.
living in the present and looking at future. Okay? Boasting is something that you are still living in your past. Okay? You are boasting in your achievements. Okay? So that is something which can be a turn off for the panel. And so humility, humbleness, and honesty. These
Wow.
three things are very important during an interview. Okay? There's a difference. Okay? Be humble, but don't beg. Okay? You should not demean yourself. Okay?
Right.
I've often seen students degrading themselves when asked about their improvement areas. Okay? No, again, the trick here is, or the training here is, how do you present it? How do you say things which are somewhat negative aspects of your character?
Wow. So guys, don't you think this is not just an interview tip, but also a tip for your lifetime? This is
Yes,
required. This should be there in the people for lifetime. Wonderful. Now talking specifically about the IIM interviews, so do IIM's interview emphasize on personality traits or more on academic?
Okay. Before I go on to answering this question, let us understand what does a B school or a IIM expect from a candidate, and what a candidate is expected to be doing during his 2 years of the course. You have to be an all-rounder.
Okay.
The shortest word for this is you have to be an all-rounder. And all-rounder means personality, communication, extracurricular activity participations, and of course academics. Okay? So if I look at the interview, the span of the interview has 3 major sections. One is personality of the candidate. Second is the academics, how good a student he has been.
Right.
Or the third one is your general awareness and awareness about the surroundings, because these are the 3 areas which actually make a manager. Okay? So it is very important to have both these things in balance. Only one thing probably reduces your chances of selection. Okay? If you are a very good player, very good sportsman, and you have a lot of extracurricular activities, but you do not have a lot of academics, okay? So that also reduces, because more than your own self, it is the competition that you're going to be pitched against. There are going to be people who are 360 degrees.
Correct.
Okay? So you need to compete with them. So extracurricular activities, personality, and academics, all 3 should have a balance between them if you have to succeed in a IIM interview.
Wow. I'm sure these pieces of advice you're not going to get anywhere else. Stay with us. So all those students who write in their strengths, they have good leadership skills, right?
Yes.
So what kind of questions the interviewers ask to, to assess their leadership skills?
Okay. Yes, very true. Most of the CVs and most of the forms that I see, I often find this word leadership as strength or skills. Leadership can be proven. It can be proven with your past records. If you are a person who has been leading teams, who has been the sports captain or the house captain or a college captain, that shows some bit of leadership that is there. Okay? However, some specific questions can be asked. If I am on the panel, I would ask, can you narrate an incident where you practiced leadership and what did you achieve from there? So this is a question that often comes out. So here you have to actually narrate an incident where you practiced and demonstrated leadership. So leadership comes from your positions of responsibilities that you have been taking. ठीक है, अगर फ़र्ज़ करो आपके पास कोई पोजीशन ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है, आप कैप्टन नहीं रहे हो, कहीं स्पोर्ट्स में भी नहीं रहे हो, तो इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू प्रूव लीडरशिप. वेयर हैव यू डेमोन्स्ट्रेटेड दैट? ठीक है, तो डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस कैन बी टू आस्क इंसिडेंट, नरेशन ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, and what have you learned during your positions of responsibility as the sports captain?
Right.
How has it shaped your personality? These are the questions that can come to assess whether the person actually has any leadership potential or not.
So do you suggest students to prepare those answers before so that they can have their incidents prepared? Real incidents?
As a suggestion, yes. If you have a background like this, then only you should mention leadership.
Right.
Okay. If you do not have, first करो आपने एक प्रोग्राम एंकरिंग किया था, ठीक है,
Right.
और उसके बेस पे आपने लिख दिया लीडरशिप. इट डजंट मेक सेंस. ठीक है, एंकरिंग इज नॉट लीडरशिप. ठीक है, एंकरिंग इज मोर ऑफ स्टेज स्पीकिंग, स्टेज प्रेजेंस, दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. तो लीडरशिप के लिए अनलेस यू हैव सम पोजीशंस और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, अनलेस यू हैव लेड अ प्रोजेक्ट और यू हैव एग्जीक्यूटेड समथिंग with a team, leading that team, तब तक आपको leadership as a skill या strength नहीं डालनी चाहिए. और अगर है, and if you are putting, तो prepare a few incidences which demonstrate that you have demonstrated leadership.
Now, since the candidates have already got call from IIMs, sir, how do they prove or justify or demonstrate that they are fit for the IIM?
Okay, so before I go on to the answer, let us in brief understand what is the culture at IIM. ठीक है, और एक IIM student who is going through that course of PGP or MBA, what is expected out of him? One thing is hard work, definitely. Okay, it's a very hard work. Resilience, analytical skills, logical reasoning, good interpersonal skills, then ability to work in teams, ability to lead teams, ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वो उस कल्चर का हिस्सा होती है. They're a part of that culture. And incidences from your life before IIM, ठीक है, pick out those incidences which prove that yes, you have demonstrated these skills over a period of time. Analytical skills हैं, logical reasonings हैं, and good interpersonal skills हैं. These are the qualities that make you or help you sustain through that grilling environment of 2 years of IIM. ठीक है? It sometimes happens that you finish your class at 11 p.m., go and have dinner, and you're thinking of going off to bed, and suddenly you get a message on your phone that there's a special class at 1:30 a.m. Okay? So that resilience, that hard work, that energy level needs to be there. So all these qualities need to be proven before your life, where the life at IIM began. Okay? तो आपकी पास्ट जो रिकॉर्ड्स हैं, पास्ट एक्टिविटीज़ हैं, उनको आप देखिए, सिट डाउन with them and see which activity proves which skill. ठीक है, so that's the only way you can do. And the other thing is good communication, well formed answers, coherent answers during the interview demonstrate your communication skills. ठीक है, तो these are some things which are essential to have a good fit. ठीक है, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि बहुत exceptionally bright candidate, bright in terms of academics, ठीक है, he or she gets rejected and a little average candidate gets selected. ठीक है, this shows that they are actually looking at a person who is fit for that ecosystem rather than a person who is bright in academics or bright in one particular area.
Right.
Okay, so it is important that you have like a first question was, it has to be 360 degrees. Okay, so all your activities, all your achievements, they will prove that yes, you are actually a good fit for the IM culture.
Now, since you talked about grilling experience, you also talked about that student who's very good at academics sometimes do not get selected for the, do not crack the big school interview. So sometimes it happens in the interviews as well, right? The profile is really good of a candidate, but he gets nervous. So how, would you like to give some tips to make themselves calm down or handle stress at the time of interview?
Feeling nervous and feeling anxious are two different things. Nervousness, in my opinion, is a good thing. You should have some bit of nervousness because it helps you perform better. But the moment that nervousness gets converted into anxiety, that is where the problem is. Okay? You tend to forget things. So, as an action plan to overcome this, the first thing is prepare to the best you can. Prepare everything. Talk to your mentors. What should they be preparing? And prepare yourself well. Second, on the day of the interview, I'm afraid this is going to be a slightly longer answer. Okay, on the day of the interview, do not go empty stomach. Eat something. Have your breakfast. The breakfast needs to be something which gives you consistent energy, not a burst of energy, because energy aayega and you'll go down again. Okay? So some suggestions that I have is probably porridge, some wheat flakes, a fruit. Ideal fruits are papaya or apple. Okay? So that will sustain your energy, and when you have the energy, the nervousness and the anxiety, they get suppressed. Okay? Another suggestion is take a fruit with you. Maybe slice the apple, take it in a small box, take it with you to the interview venue, because you might feel hungry, because in that environment, in that mental state, the metabolic rate increases and whatever breakfast you had, okay, it gets digested very fast. So you might feel hungry. So take that. Suggestion is take a fruit. Don't take strong smelling food. Okay? Strong smelling food जो होते हैं ना, जैसे वो प्याज वाले पोहे हो गए या समोसा या कचौरी, ठीक है, डोंट डू दैट. टेक अ फ्रूट एंड ईट इट व्हेनेवर यू फील लाइक. ठीक है, प्रैक्टिस डीप ब्रीदिंग. ठीक है, सिट विद योर सेल्फ, प्रैक्टिस डीप ब्रीदिंग. व्हेन यू रीच द इंटरव्यू वेन्यू, डोंट जस्ट सिट एट वन प्लेस. ट्राई एंड लुक अराउंड व्हाट्स हैपनिंग. ट्राई एंड लुक एट द पोस्टर्स, द नोटिस बोर्ड्स. ठीक है, एंड देन try and incorporate the things that you learn from that campus in your interview questions. Sitting at one place and brooding about the interview will make you nervous and will make you anxious. Okay? So these are some small tips that you can use in order to overcome your anxiety.
Extremely important question again.
Yes.
What are some of the common mistakes which students make during the IM interview? Which should be avoided? Yes.
Okay, yes. Not just the interview, but the whole process. Some common mistakes that happen is not preparing your folder well. Okay? Most of the times you tend to forget a document. So this is something that I ask the students to prepare well beforehand, so that all the documents are there.
Right.
There's nothing more frustrating than the panel asks for a document and you don't have that. Okay. So that is the first thing that you should do. Prepare your presentation, your documents, your folder very well. Second thing is your dressing, your attire should be, like we said, it has to be apt for the occasion. The third thing is, when you come into the room, don't be in a hurry to sit down. Okay? This is the most common thing that I've observed. The student comes in, puts his folder and say, can I have a seat? अरे 2 मिनट खड़ा रहे यार, क्या दिक्कत है, वो बिठा लेंगे तेरे को. ठीक है, तो डोंट बी इन अ हरी. ठीक है, वन वेरी very destructive mistake, if I say, students are often in a hurry to get over with the interview. Okay, they feel कि यार ख़त्म हो और मैं जाऊँ बाहर. ठीक है, तो this is something that you should never do. You should get involved in the process. You should stay there, stay with the process. It is very important. Look at the questions, listen to the questions, think about the questions and then answer. Yeah? This is another mistake that happens. You often jump to the answer. Okay? The question khatam hota nahi hai and you start your answer. Okay? Because you are in a hurry to get over with it. Okay? This creates a big problem. It hampers your communication skills. It prompts you to give a wrong answer and then you have trouble. ठीक है, आपने 1-2 आंसर्स अगर गलत दे दिए एक के बाद एक, कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता उससे, लेकिन अंदर एक नर्वसनेस आना शुरू हो जाती है. ठीक है, एंड देन यू स्पॉइल द एंटायर इंटरव्यू. ठीक है, सो दीज आर सम मिस्टेक्स दैट यू शुड नॉट डू. यू शुड ऑलवेज ग्रीट वाइल यू आर टॉकिंग. एग्जाम्पल अगर देना चाहूँ तो, सर, टॉकिंग अबाउट माई हॉबीज़, I have been playing cricket for the last 6 years and have been leading teams. Now sir, coming on to my interest areas, ठीक है, यहाँ पे मैंने क्या किया, sir, addressing is very important. ठीक है, आप एक स्क्रिप्ट की तरह आंसर नहीं दे रहे हो. You are actually conversing with the panel. ठीक है, तो एक स्क्रिप्ट की तरह आंसर मत दो, एड्रेस करो उनको. और एड्रेस करने से देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ हम्बलनेस दैट कम्स इन, ह्यूमिलिटी दैट कम्स इन. ओके, तो इन चीज़ों का ख्याल ज़रूर रखना चाहिए आपको.
So talking about general knowledge and current affairs, how much focus is placed on these topics in interview?
In one of your previous questions, I said there are 3 major areas of an interview. So one of the important areas of the interview is general awareness and current affairs. Let us understand why is this important. Because we are not sitting in a IAS interview or a UPSC interview.
Right.
Okay? The intention of this question is to assess whether you are a person who is interested in knowing about your environment. Okay? आप क्या अपने आसपास जो चीज़ें हो रही हैं, क्या आप उनसे इत्तेफाक रखते हैं. ठीक है, आर यू इंटरेस्टेड इन रीडिंग व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इन इकोनॉमी, इन बिजनेस, पॉलिटिक्स, इंटरनेशनल अफेयर्स, सोशल इश्यूज़. तो ये एरियाज़ जो हैं, इन एरियाज़ के बारे में जानना ज़रूरी होता है. क्यों? बिकॉज अ गुड मैनेजर इज़ aware of his business environment. Okay, unless you are aware of your business environment, you will not be efficient. Okay? And this is exactly what they assess. Okay? They understand that you are not an MBA, you are still not a manager, but you are a candidate for a course of management.
Right.
Okay? So do you have that basic quality, that hunger, that intent of knowing about your environment? If you are a person who doesn't read newspapers or is not interested in current affairs, they would have a doubt. यार ये एक particular requirement है. ठीक है, this is essential for a manager to be aware. And this person is not in a habit of keeping himself aware. Is he going to prove a good candidate or no? तो एक डाउट आ जाएगा दिमाग में. ठीक है, तो इसलिए करंट अफेयर्स और जनरल अवेयरनेस को पढ़ना ज़रूरी है. और इट इज़ एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑल्सो ऑफ एनी IIM और एनी B school interview.
So since you have mentioned that knowing what's happening around us is important. Now, a person who's not from the business or management background, how do you think should he prepare for the interview for an IIM?
Okay, this is where the roles of the mentors come in. Okay, there are some specific areas which every person should know about, whether he is coming from a engineering background or whether he's coming from a medical background or a non-management background. Okay, what is happening to the economy of the country? Okay, how do you assess an economy? What is the purpose of finance as a function? Okay, तो basic information ये होनी ही चाहिए, ठीक है, because this is a part of general awareness. ठीक है, how is the budget formed?
Right.
What are the functions of RBI? You don't have to get into details of that because that is not your subject. However, ये तो पता होना ही चाहिए कि RBI हमारे देश में करता क्या है, ठीक है, और बजट जो बनता है तो बजट में क्या चीज़ें होती हैं, ठीक है. आज की डेट में how is the global economy flourishing? They might even ask that, tell me the economic and business aspects of your particular domain. If a person is a mechanical engineer, ठीक है, they would probably ask, you know, कि चलो अच्छा प्रोडक्शन एरिया जो है हमारा इकोनॉमी का, तो उस प्रोडक्शन एरिया के बारे में क्या जानते हो, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के बारे में क्या जानते हो, फिर उससे रिलेटेड जो जनरल अवेयरनेस है, ठीक है, वो आ जाता है. व्हाट इज FDI?
ओके,
ठीक है, व्हाट इज मेक इन इंडिया प्रोग्राम, ठीक है ना, इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आना शुरू हो जाते हैं. तो ये बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन तो होनी ही चाहिए, ठीक है. दे वुडंट गो इनटू द ग्राफ्स एंड द डिटेलिंग ऑफ थिंग्स, ठीक है, बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट योर सब्जेक्ट, बट जो एक बेसिक जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन है देश के बारे में, देश की इकोनॉमी के बारे में, ये पता सबको होना चाहिए. तभी तो आप मैनेजमेंट पढ़ोगे, ठीक है. अगर सिर्फ इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ रहे हो तो व्हाई नॉट डू एन M.Tech,
right,
and become a technical expert? You have decided to go in the field of management, तो उसका थोड़ा सा प्रिपरेशन तो करना पड़ता है, और यहाँ पे आपके मेंटर्स जो हैं वो आपकी हेल्प करते हैं.
right. Having said that, do not forget to watch our video on how to read the newspaper in the correct manner and what is the importance of reading newspaper on our YouTube channel only on CH Edgemakers. So finally, sir, do you recommend any book, resources or anything which you know they should refer to for preparing an IIM interview?
Okay, resources. To prepare different areas of the interview, I suggest that you should develop a habit of reading newspapers and books. Some examples, if I give you, The Hindu, Times of India, Hindustan Times,
Right.
Economist, then India Today is a very good magazine. इस तरह की magazines पढ़ो. These are very good resources to, you know, give you the relevant information about what is happening around. Second thing is reopen your academic books, your curriculum books. ठीक है, it is important because there are going to be questions on your subjects, your graduation subjects, तो उसको बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ो. और इसके अलावा जो है वो you should you know if you are preparing under a particular mentor or a particular institute or something, ठीक है, उन institutes का जो मटेरियल होता है फॉर इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन उसको ज़रूर आप पढ़ें, ठीक है. और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ ये है कि द मटेरियल और द रिसोर्स शुड बी रिलायबल, ठीक है. देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ इंटरव्यू चैनल्स एंड इंटरव्यू वीडियोज़ दैट आर गोइंग ऑन, ठीक है. द मोर यू सी यू विल गेट कन्फ्यूज, ठीक है. तो सिलेक्ट अ रिलायबल सोर्स एंड फॉलो दैट सोर्स. एंड इसके अलावा अगर मैं आपको देखूँ, इफ़ यू हैव अ हैबिट ऑफ रीडिंग बुक्स, इफ़ यू हैव रेड बुक्स, ठीक है, तो उस बुक्स को एक बार वापस से उठा के आप देख लीजिए कि उस बुक्स ने आपको क्या सिखाया था, ठीक है. और अगर टाइम है तो मैं सजेस्ट करूँगा कि एक या दो पतली बुक ज़रूर पढ़ लीजिए रिलेटेड टू एनी सॉफ्ट स्किल, इंटरपर्सनल स्किल और मैनेजमेंट रिलेटेड. तो विद दिस आई थिंक आपका प्रिपरेशन जो है वो आगे बढ़ सकता है.
Great. So you have heard it from the horse's mouth himself. He has been training students and he has been making sure that his students crack the IIM interviews. Not just students, he has been taking interviews of the corporates as well. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, do not forget to share and subscribe and hit the bell icon for the latest notifications and updates. Keep learning.